Hello again, prospectors. Here we are, another gorgeous day, mid-January, in North Nevada. And what are we doing today? Well, we're going on a lovely nature walk, and we're scouting for silver ore. When I came walking through this section last time, I noticed that out here on the ground, there was a bunch of nice-looking quartz that contained a silver sulfide in it. And so what I wanted to do today was see if I could track down exactly where it's coming from. So if you notice, there's a bunch of mountain ranges over here, and then there's various gullies going up, and then there's a hillside right here. Okay, now the silver is lying around out there on the ground in the quartz. So what we're going to try to do today is see if we could track down a general location from where it's coming from. Now look at this. There's someone else out here. There's a truck sitting out here in the middle of nowhere. Could be a fellow prospector or a hunter, more likely a hunter that just drove out there and parked the truck. That's what I want to get. I want to get a truck so I could drive out here. I had to park the SUV all the way back over there by the gas station and walk out here, but a little truck like that, you can just drive right up. I don't see anyone down in there, so whoever it is, they're out in the hills hunting or prospecting or what have you. All right, so we know there's silver quartz down in this area. So the first spot, if you notice, we have a little slope right here. There's a little hill. Okay, so I wanted to check this hill right here first to see if perhaps the silver's rolling down this way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk along the base of this hill here just to see if there's any quartz floats coming down. All right, see how that would work? So if we see quartz float, then the silver's coming from up there. So it's not rocket science. We're just going to walk along the base of the hill and see if the silver's rolling down the hill this way. Okay, now looking at this rock, it's just a bunch of lava rock. I'm not seeing any quartz at all. You see how we're up a little bit? We're up about 30 feet from the little gully. And if silver's up there, then we're going to see pieces of it along here. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're walking along here, looking for quartz on the ground. And there's not a speck of quartz through here. It's just lava rock, and more lava rock. You see some chloride staining and that more explosive, quick cooling air bubbles in the lava. Hard to tell if it's exactly a felsic or mafic because it's dark colored, but it's also light colored. So it's probably a combination of the two. Nothing of any particular note. Just a bunch of country rock and lava rock. As far as we're concerned, the small-time prospector, there's nothing worthy of note right here along this ridge. Okay, now here's the wash. One of the washes right down here. So let's walk down here. And all of a sudden, got our trusty pickaxe. Now in the wash, if you notice, all of a sudden, pieces of quartz, mineralized looking quartz. See that? Quartz. Okay, and I had noticed that there is a silver looking sulfide in some of this stuff. All right, so since we're seeing quartz right here in this little wash, see that? And there's no quartz coming down this mountainside right here. That tells us that it's water's carrying the quartz from somewhere up there. You see that? So that's what we're gonna now put our money up into those hills. And one good way to find the source would just to follow this particular ravine up. Okay, so I'm going to walk along this edge a little bit more just to make sure that there's not an occurrence of quartz coming down at some point. Okay, so let's chug up this little hill a little bit. There's a ravine down there with the quartz. And then there's a hill here with nothing. I think you can see the little coyote path going up the hill there. Okay, so let's gain a little bit of altitude here. Oh, some type of critter activity. There's a little house here or something. That's small, so it's got to be a little field mouse living in there. They'll come out at night. In the daytime, there's birds of prey, lots of wild birds of prey out here. So the field mice, they don't really come out in the daytime. See these beautiful blue skies? Those birds up there with those eagle eyes, super sharp sight. They'd pick them off. If the mice were running around out here in the daytime, they'd be finished. So you never see them in the day. They've just evolved to go down into their little burrows in the daytime and hide and sleep. You know, it's really hot in the day also, oftentimes. And then they come out at night. They scavenge around. Oh, look, there's a little spider running around. Insects are starting to reappear now that we're going from the short days to long days. So it's headed back, swinging back towards the summer. So it gets so freaking hot out here that this part, like January, this would be considered a spring, if you will. So you're starting to see the insects reemerge. It's getting a little bit warm in the daytime. There's some flowers starting to pop up here and there. So as strange as it may sound, this mid-late January, it's essentially spring up here in North Nevada. See more and more insects start to come up in flowers. Then it'll turn into brutally hot summer. So now's a great time to be doing this prospecting while before it gets super, super hot. There's a nice little outcropping up there. See that thing just sticking up, resisting erosion? It's a nice little chunky. But as far as I could tell from this vantage point, there's no quartz rolling down the hill. Caved in critter hole. Coyotes will come and dig around these holes trying to get a meal at nighttime. Just beautiful out here. Look at these blue skies. Clouds. Beautiful blue skies. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so we've been walking along the base of this little hill here, and going up this way, no quartz coming down, but quartz right down there. Here's a little washout, just a little one, and it doesn't appear that any quartz is tumbling down the hill from up there. All right, so continuing on, we got our hunter's truck or whatever, maybe Prospector. All right, you can see some tire tracks along here. Something's been driving through here. Ooh, that's an angle, hugging the side of the hill right here. Probably hunters. There's gazelle out here, or well, antelope, I guess. All right, so no quartz coming down this hill so far. And then here's our wash over to the left, and then the hill going up this way. Let's take another look at the little wash here. Yep, see Prospector, piece of quartz right there. Bowl quartz or empty quartz. Not seeing any mineralization in this. But we can see that it's here. Isn't that nice to be able to prospect like that? So we could tell the quartz isn't coming from up here because there's none on the little hill or on the slope. And then we see it right down here at the bottom where the water's been carving out its course. So we know that it's coming from somewhere up there. Nice, huh? So we're using our prospecting skills to techniques to try to locate the vein. Finding a nice vein of silver sulfide quartz would be special, especially with the price up around 40 bucks an ounce, something like this nowadays. Probably rising even more. I heard that I don't know if this is true, but I heard that one of the big mines in the world that was pumping out silver and flooding the market with it for years and years and years, played out. For whatever reason, stopped producing the quantities that it once did. And it's my understanding that there's just less silver in this clay-like volcanic rock. There's less silver now in the open market because the big mine played out. And that's one of the reasons why silver price has gone up quite rapidly, because the big mine, not sure what the name of it is, but apparently it stopped selling as much silver to the open market. And then the demand is getting high and getting higher. Silver's a great conductor. Gold is much better, but since gold is so much more expensive, silver is often used as a conductor. And so there's just demand for it in electronics. All right. Here's a chunk in the creek. Oh. Now this looks like quartz, yeah. Yeah, this is some type of quartz. See, you see the crystals there. Okay, now you see this darkish material here on there that appears to be a silver sulfide. Isn't that precious? So you see that in the quartz, that dark, probably going to be silver, but with a sulfur. So you have to process it, crush it up, drive off the sulfur, and then you can get the silver out. Now, the ratio of sulfur to silver is 1/2. So when you see this dark material, if it is silver, it could be a zinc or something else, but if it is silver, half of that dark material is metallic silver. The other half would be sulfur. So it's quite a bit. Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's, oh, that's nice and heavy too. Okay, so you see why we're out here, Prospector? What we want to do is we want to find the vein. Look at that chunky. Look how big it is. We want to find where this is coming out of the mountain. Somewhere up there. Right, so let's go ahead and grab this bad boy. That's a nice little specimen. And continue on. Now we just want to make sure that it's not rolling down the hill here. Before we go hiking way up there, we just want to make sure that it's not coming from up there somewhere. And so yes, we're looking along the base of this little hill to see if there's any quartz float, and as far as I can tell, not one speck is coming down this hill. Not one speck at all. But then there's a lot, well, not a lot, but there's little pieces here in the ravine. Okay, so I think we're safe to say that this hill on the right, at least so far, is not producing the quartz. We're going to keep traveling along just to make sure. And we can double back. And here's our little wash. And it's got the quartz in it. Oh. Here's a big old chunky here. Yeah, you see the little dark, kind of darkish material. We're hoping that's a sulfur. Here's some more of it. It's a little bit darkish. You can see it's mostly white, but you can see a little stain in there. You see that on the face there? Right, and so you see these piles of quartz that are here. This is why you bring the pickaxe. Little chunks like that are too stuck in the dirt. Okay, so you see how there's just quartz scattered about in this little wash? Barren hill. I can see a plane flying through the sky. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. Can you see it? Yeah, there we go. Flying high. So we're prospecting, but we're also taking a nice nature walk. Glad you're along, Prospectors, to enjoy the beautiful day, sunshine, clear, clean outdoors, Mother Nature, if you will. You can see the little red leaf grass growing in. There's a carpet of green down here. There's a little bit of snow that's surviving in the shade from the night before, that's slowly melting off in the daily heat. Nice looking sagebrush, healthy. Getting ready to rebloom now that spring's approaching. Woo, that has a nice sharp smell. I tell you, that sage, when you come out here to the high desert, you're gonna smell that right off the bat. You know, if your nose isn't acclimated to it. Just a beautiful, sharp, pungent smell of sage. And here's a little piece stuck in the wash. A little bit of iron mineralization. Not much, nothing like super fantastic. But we know that there's There's, it looks, by the looks of it, it looks like there's silver coming in. So it's coming from somewhere up there. Very nice. Okay, so we're scouting the edge of this hill. Sometimes there's a lot of water raging down here because you see how this rock right here is rounded, and there's these little stones from ants, and if you see the roundness, sometimes the water will come gushing down, or has in the past. So there was a time when there was a lot more water raging down here, and that's why, that's how this quartz got transported. A lot of chloride staining through here. Right, so this part here, see this material? Now this was containing rare earth. There's a hot spring back over here, and in a prior video we scouted that out and found really nice amber crystals of rare earth. Not seeing anything in this, but you could see little darker inclusions a little bit. But this is the type of material that's out here by the hot spring, a whole bunch of it around the corner there. Neodymium, rare earth, this type of really heavy chloride. It's called a carbonite type material. This is where you'll find rare earth is often found in. So there are patches of this carbonite, thicker. This appears to be one of them right here. And you can get rare earth in this type of carbonite. So that's coming down from up the hill. But that nice carbonite area is right around the corner. So, but today we're not searching for rare earth carbonites. Today we're looking for this silver ore. And what do we have here? Another little piece in the wash. That looks kind of good. See, it's rounded from being in the water for a long time. Mineralized. Nice little piece. We'll grab that one. It's a sample. This is some bedrock poking through. Hard stuff. Definitely mafic. You see how dark that is? Strong stuff. Iron rich. That's why it's resisting erosion. Alright, we're just moseying along in the country. Some nice looking sage. You shot of the beautiful sage. Very healthy, very clean looking. Very nice, great day to be out here. Woo, I tell you, it's hotter than the cat on a tin roof. So with the snow on the ground, it's nice and cool. You can see little tracks. That's some type of field mouse. You see those little tiny tracks that didn't crush in too deep. You get hot, you can just put a little bit of this on the back of the neck. Keep yourself cool. Now's the time to be doing this. All right, so moving along. Our bucket's starting to get a little heavier with our specimens. But if there's one thing to remember, prospector, it's this: gold does not dig itself. You got to get out there. You got to look. You see this little dark piece right there inside the, that's what we're on the hunt for, that type of material. The process there is you run through a little crusher. Well, you heat it first of all, so it loosens up the rock strength. Oh, another little spider running through the sand. And another one over here. Ooh, they're out. And you heat up the rock so it crushes easier. And then you put it into like a little hammer mill type deal, whether you're using a chain or what have you. Well, here's a little pile of material that's built up over here. And in it, this is where we're starting to see some nice stuff. See that? Darker, ooh, darker quartz. So this is where I want to get a truck. I can just drive up here and load this stuff up. Oh yeah, this is looking good. See these pieces here? Ooh. So the process is you heat this up, you crush it, you hammer mill it, what have you, and then shake your table, and all the sulfides, since they're heavier, will come out. Then there's an electrolysis process with aluminum and copper, anode, cathode. Look at this one, nice and mineralized. Yeah, that's a quartz, just not as glossy, but well, yeah, it looks, this almost looks like a house rock with a little bit of quartz on the edge or something. Like a little quartz piece on the edge, and then the rest of it's like the country rock. But look how mineralized that is. Ooh. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. So that's why I'm out here today. There's a big old chunk in the ground. There's mineralization in it. It's possible there's a little gold in this too. But you heat it up, you run it through a hammer mill, and then shake your table and your sulfides come out, and then you do an electrolysis, and that takes the aluminum, sacrifices that to get, and that'll go ahead and bond with some of the sulfur, and then the rest of the sulfur comes off the silver. The silver drops to the bottom of your jar as just free metal. The rest of the sulfur will attach to the copper. So it's not that difficult to get the silver out of this quartz when it's a silver sulfur. So I'm looking forward to testing that process on this material to see if in fact silver's going to come out of this stuff. Yeah, you see how it's dark like that? It's a possibility that that's the silver sulfur mixed up in the quartz. Little test will tell. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be. This is, after all, the silver state. Okay. So we're walking along this hillside. So far, we're not seeing any quartz coming down the hill. Following up this little wash. And what do we have here? Evidence that this is not a county park. This is the wilds. So you want to take your precautions, bring your pepper spray, bear spray, maybe a pocket knife. And if you can, a gun. I don't have a gun myself, but I should probably get one. Like a handgun. This might be like a coyote skeleton. But yeah, it's picked clean. The birds, everything. There's nothing, no scraps out here. This is the wilds. I left my bucket right down there. It's starting to get heavy. Just gonna scout around this ridge here really quick, just to make sure that there's no quartz pouring down this mountain, so we can cross this hill off our list as possible sources. Yeah, there's not a speck. Quartz, little coyote path going up. This is cow country. You're seeing these little dried up cow patties everywhere. Boy, I tell you, it takes a toll on your shoes. For some reason, just walking around out here in this cow country makes your shoes smell like cow dung. However that works, I don't know, little pieces of dirt must get kicked up and get lodged in your shoe, and so it's constant bleaching of your shoes. Otherwise you smell like a cowboy. And we're prospectors, not cowboys, so. All right, now, also what we're seeing is as we walk up this little side wash, no quartz in this. Okay, so this hill just kind of wraps around here towards the very hot spring where all that rare earth is sitting over there. No quartz here. But then walking over to this little wash, if you will. Oh yeah, shows us the quartz is over here. See? Some darker color in that. Okay, so we're going to cross off this hill as not the source, and also not coming from over that way, because you don't see it at the very hot spring where the carbonate rare earth is. But it is coming out of this little bad boy right here. Now this one, what it does is it goes and wraps around, and right there, you see that little cut in the hill? That's where this is coming from. So this goes all the way, winds around, and then goes up into that little crevasse. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hike back to the car and put these samples up, and then I'm gonna grab the pepper spray and the knife, which I left at the car, and then hike up towards that crevasse, because we can tell now that it's certainly not coming out of this hill, and it's not coming from back that way, but it is in this little wash, and that wash goes right there. Yup, so that's where we're headed next, Prospector. Okay, I'm gonna put the phone down and just hike back to the car. Here we're looking at nice little quartz samples. Yep, there we go. We're on the hunt for the silver ore today. Beautiful day. Some melting snow in the shade. Gorgeous, just gorgeous day. No wind, so it makes shooting these videos quite nice. Let's zoom in for you. Look at these mountains over here. See the see, there's a little bit of snow up there. It's a little cooler up there. Just a gorgeous day. Now this is what's considered the Santa Rosa Range. Where we are on the map is I always want to share with you these locations. I mean, there's more than enough to go around. Over to the right is something called the Very Hot Spring. You could locate it on your map. This is the base of the Santa Rosa, but the bulk of it heads up that way. And you have the McDermott Caldera, McDermott up that way. You have the highway over here. And you have Winnemucca going over here. So, and this is not claimed. There's no claims on this land. So somewhere right up there is silver coming out from what I gather. I'm going to have to test the material, of course. But there's no claim on it. So we're going to go up there and see if we could locate a nice little quartz silver ore body. And it is open for claiming. And in a prior video, we were at the Holiday Copper Prospect. That's down over there. You can actually see it and see the mountain range that kind of comes down and then slopes down right there at the bottom. That first little slope up, that's the Holiday Copper Prospect right there. And then the Nickel Beast is back over that way, loaded up. Cobalt, nickel, magnetic, and probably telluride. Across these hills is a valley, and over that way is the Awakening District. Lots of areas with beautiful looking quartz not claimed. So Nevada's open, folks. Come up here and do some mining. Lots of open land for that. A lot of it's claimed though, so you have to kind of have to do your research on the BLM websites first. You don't want to just waltz out like we're doing here onto someone's claim and start picking up rocks. No. Can't do that. This is all open here, so there's no problem. Oh, look at this piece. You can see the stringers in there and mineralized. Now this tells me that when we get up into the mountain there, the source of this silver quartz is going to be a lot of little stringer veins. That's probably why you just can't see it very easily on binoculars. So we're going to have to get up there and really look around at the rock outcroppings. And what we'll probably find are there'll be an area where this is coming out. Now that's going to be the source of the potential mine, silver mine. And we're prospectors. So that's what we're doing. We're going to go up into the hill there and try to find the source. And that's the essence of prospecting. Now, I'm not the mining company myself. I've been reaching out. Oh, there's a little spider going through the dirt. Little black spider. So I certainly won't be mining these prospects and districts and things like this. But I've been reaching out to colleges and mining companies. And I actually had a college call me back. The Oxford, or some type of Oxford English college that I may be able to strike up some type of relationship with. Send some of these samples off to jolly old England for testing. And then what would happen is the university would put the claims down on the actual mining location for future exploitation. You know, in the future, this material is going to be more and more valuable. Hell, there's rare earth and neodymium probably right over here. And then there's silver coming over here. And then there's a copper, zinc, lead, and silver right there. So maybe right now it's not too precious, but as time goes on, these little districts will probably become more and more desirable. So anyways, I'm not the mining company myself, just the prospector. So my role is to go out and locate it. Boy, do I have a good time doing that. Now that I started this YouTube channel, it's even more fun. You're coming along. See, this is the beginning. All those precious metals that are in your cell phone and in the electronics around your house and everywhere that you see on the street and the cars, the airplanes overhead. It all starts right here, prospector. Someone's got to go out there like us and locate the material. There you can see it coming down. Find the gold, zinc, rare earths, lead, tin, silver, copper. Find the mine. And then from there, it ends up becoming little pieces that are inside your cell phone and your electronics. But this is where it all begins, right here. Fun stuff. Great hobby. I tell you, I love this hobby. It's a hobby of mine to do this. But I'm doing the YouTube video and want to try to monetize that. Look at this. This is a little different. It's like a piece of giant grass. A lot of sage around, but this is just like a clump of grass. Surprising what you find out in the desert as far as the plants. Coyote trail going up the side. Yeah, so maybe I can monetize this little YouTube channel. I'm glad you're coming along for the view. Decompress a little bit, see some nature. And heck, maybe if you're into exploring, prospecting, exploring for gold and silver, maybe you could learn a couple things. There's a little bit of knowledge that perhaps I can impart, and then you could use that. Like, you watch a bunch of mining videos and pretty soon you're out there looking around. Glad you're tuning into the channel. I'm up to 68 subscribers right now. I hope to get 500 by the new year. It's January right now, so I'm hoping by December 31st I'll have at least 500. That's what you need to start monetizing your YouTube. If I can get this hobby to pay a little bit, all the better. And heck, who knows, if I find a nice little gold source, silver source, maybe I could start making a little bit of cash on it. Right now, I don't have any of the equipment. You need a land, a well, power supply, crushers, grinders, shaker tables. I don't have any of this stuff. You need the proper vehicle. This is a nice garden stone, if anything. Yeah, the quartz is definitely pouring down out of that hill up there somewhere. Ooh. Whole bunch of chalcopyrite on this. I don't know if you can see it in the... I'll move the camera around a little bit. So you can see the sparkle in this. That's going to be a copper. So there's a little copper out here too. That's a shiny piece. Nice little garden stone. But yeah, if I can monetize this YouTube channel, that'd be just great. Get a little extra money for doing the hobby. Pay for things like equipment and gas and what have you for the hobby. I'm trying to get together with a mining company or a university, because I tell you, some of this stuff is really valuable. Right over here around the corner is a bunch of rare earth, probably neodymium, and it's thorium free because it's in the carbonite type material rather than a moissanite. Really precious, actually, right over here. So it's frankly worth millions of dollars. That's why I'm reaching out to mining companies and universities. But rare earth mine, I mean, what the heck can I do with that? Nothing. I would need a silver or gold mine really to make money. Here's that truck just parked out here in the middle of nowhere. Well, I don't know if maybe someone's sleeping in there. I'm not sure. I don't want to bother them, so I'm going to trek up this way. Drop off these stones at the car, and then reset the hike to go up and check out that little ridge. Okay, so we'll pick up over there in a little bit here, Prospector.